I like that song. Just has a good rockin' beat to it. Nice to listen to it. Hey, everybody. It is Thursday and time for the 3 o'clock in the afternoon live stream from Joe Daddy's Garage. I see I've got 8 people watching. And of course, that won't. It'll show it on the little counter up here, but it'll take a while for them to show up on the side. So, hope everybody's doing well. Here we go. We have Jerry Tyler, Casey Benson, Benson Customs in the house. Cool. Hope everybody's doing well. You know, still we've had some decent weather the last couple days, but it's starting to get hot again, which is not surprising. And 12 noon in California. Well, glad you're here. I know there was a bunch of okay. Dragon, first time on the U.S. time zone. Dragon 7689. I'm glad you're here. I know there were some big storms that went up the East Coast, and various parts of the country up there got hammered pretty good, from what I understand. And also, we saw earlier, a day or two ago, a couple days ago, that scary explosion. I'm sure it was all over the news in Beirut. So I really, really feel bad for all those people there. I mean, that's devastating. I think they said it was like 1/10 or 1/12 the power of the bomb at Hiroshima, and that the videos of that are just terrifying. I can't imagine what those people are going through, and just overwhelming. I mean, that is some scary looking stuff. It was, yeah, just unbelievable to see that footage. Okay, so Dragon is saying have been deployed for the last 6 months. So was on European Union time zones. Well, thank you for your service, Dragon. You get a buff for that. Truck one, I keep getting this 1LT. I'm glad you're here. I know we've talked about this before. I keep wanting to say first lieutenant, but you said before that's not what it's about. So anyway, as I was saying, man, some of the stuff going on, hey, nobody, glad you're here. Just that, that, like I said, that explosion in Beirut, we can't imagine those kind of explosions normally. There's just no way we can't comprehend. And there's they say there's several or 150 people that confirmed dead. I imagine that number's going to get higher, because that explosion to me was just total destruction. I saw a picture earlier of firefighters who were trying to open up that warehouse, and they may have inadvertently triggered that explosion because the fire was already inside. And by opening up those doors, it may have allowed the air to get in. They didn't know all that ammonium nitrate was stored behind there. I think he said it was 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate. Man. But I guess that picture must have been uploaded just prior to the actual explosion. And I mean, you have to kind of think that an explosion like that, if you can level buildings, create a crater that's probably 50, 60 feet deep, if not more, I would venture that they're not going to be finding intact people, at that point of impact or explosion. I would imagine they're not going to find much left of people. So it's really hard to tell how many are truly affected. I think they said it would be like 300,000 people homeless from that incident. Man, and sometimes we hear, in various parts of the world and states and Europe, whatever, I guess in a sense we take it for granted, some of the things that we have every day. And, I'm not saying I wanted to go to Beirut by any means, but to see that kind of devastation, that's overwhelming. It really is. So, yeah, not that I have any connection to Beirut at all, but I just feel really bad for the normal, everyday people that live there who are now dealing with this. And anyway, it's enough about that. So I hope everybody's doing well. I know that I've been keeping up with various videos and what people are doing. And I know that Greg Workshop has been, posting his videos of the Forge that he built and a variety of other things. So if you haven't checked out his shop or his channel, give him a look. He's a fabricator. He lives in Australia, and I think he needs to have some more subscribers. He's only got like 26, and he doesn't make fancy videos. He doesn't make there's really no editing. It's whatever he films with his camera phone is what you get, and there's some good information on there, but check him out if you get a chance. And then also I want to point out Grease Rookie Garage. A lot of you already know about him. You probably have seen his videos where he's building a 6-cylinder Mustang. First time he's really gotten into doing this sort of thing. And so he's got, he did a drawing of a Mustang with a Ed Roth type character monster on it. And he had a poster made. And I know he's going to be doing a giveaway of that poster. And I'm not sure when that's going to happen. But anyway, he's got that going on. A pretty cool drawing. I don't have it. I should have saved a picture of it, I guess. But hey, Brian. So anyway, he's going to be doing a giveaway on that, which I think is pretty cool. And he's got some cool looking shirts. Oh, let me point that out too. I've had shirts on Teespring for a while now, and I didn't know, whenever I first listed all that stuff, Teespring just set the prices, and I didn't know I could adjust it. So I've gone back and I've adjusted the ones that I can. I've adjusted down to a much more reasonable price. So if you're looking at those shirts at all, just have a look on Teespring, and there's I think there's links from the channel that'll take you there, or underneath the videos. You'll have a Teespring link. And I did order. I'm waiting for them to show up. I ordered I have the Joe Daddy's logo on a mask, and so I'm going to see how those look. I ordered 2 of those, and I'm waiting for those to show up. They've told me that they've shipped, so we'll wait for those to get here and have a look and see if they're worth getting. I don't know. But anyway, that's something I just wanted to mention about the Teespring, trying to adjust it, make it more reasonable. Also, I'm trying to come up with a way or a giveaway system of some sort that I know whenever I've done drawings before, they have been based on I did it before where I would just put numbers in a hat, a long time ago. And then I discovered that there's a website that I can go to that I can pull up and put in my YouTube video and get all the comments, and it'll isolate it down to individual, like it'll eliminate duplicate people. Like if somebody has made several comments, so it'll eliminate that to where you just have a drawing function of people. Well, I'm trying to think of ways to do giveaways that would be maybe a weekly thing, maybe monthly. I don't know yet. But the thought was, if I do maybe a repair video, and I do it kind of like the drawings that I was doing before, where you would leave a comment. Big piece of equipment driving up the road, I think. You would leave a comment, and then I would do a drawing from those comments and whatever. But I don't know if I want to try doing that weekly or not, because I might do a giveaway where it could be just about anything. I don't want to make it specific to where you get the same thing every time, or maybe a bigger video. I might have give away a hat, something along those lines. And I was thinking that if I did it to where it was, weekly, I could say, okay, at the end of this video or on this video, leave a comment. And then next week, I'll do a live drawing of the winner from the previous week. And then I could just kind of repeat that. So it's just a thought. I don't know if anybody has any input on that or think that's a good idea. But I think it's just kind of an easy way to maybe do some drawings and do some giveaways. And it could be, depending on maybe on the video or maybe on the amount of comments, it could be a hat, it could be a shirt, it could be, who knows? It would be a surprise in some instances as to what I gave away. But if anybody has any feedback on that, let me know, because I think it's a good way to get publicity, but also get people involved and get them something. Who knows? You might get an Evercoat mug that changes color when it has hot coffee in it. As you've seen on the last video that I posted was the spraying or the coating and a little bit of modification on the cross member that I built. And I have it actually sitting outside on the back of Frankentruck, getting heat on it. It is dry to the touch. It's not tacky at all, but I can still smell some of the outgassing. And I thought, well, surely heat's not going to hurt it. So it's sitting out on the truck getting baked. And then maybe later this afternoon, I'm not sure yet, I'm going to put it back in the car and try to test fit different things. Like I said, I think I mentioned I was going to look at the steering column again, because I have another steering column that arrived, and do a comparative video between the two so you can see what's different, what's the same, and also the headers. I want to refit the headers along with the steering, make sure all that's going to work. And from that standpoint, or from that point forward, I have a few other things I need to address. I want to put on I may start mounting like the vintage air system on the inside of the car, get the box in place, but I'm not sure yet, because I need to, I need to paint. I need to paint the firewall. I want to get the whole underside of the car done, and I'd like to have the firewall done so that when I start mounting stuff in, I'm not going back and forth. You know how it is. You don't want to go 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. I don't want to do that. So, no, we got Ricard checking in from Sweden. Harvey checking in from Jersey. Yeah, Solar Bake Booth. Yeah. And SimPilot 2018. How you doing? Glad you're here. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. And I want to do I have the front runner system that came with the vintage air kit. So I really want to mock up that system, and also to I may set the radiator in, make sure everything clears, because I had to modify. If you haven't seen that, I did a big modification on the core support, because the radiator that we have is bigger than what you would get in a 65 and 6. And so I modified the opening. I actually stretched it out using the original core support, but just modified everything. So we're going to see how that all goes together. Hopefully things work out. Little things are still needed. We need a starter, flywheel, of course, whatever. I don't know what all comes with that front runner system, because I have not opened it up yet. But you got to have a charging system, water pump, all that stuff. So hopefully I can at least mock that stuff in place, verify fitment, and then put it back in the box until it's ready for real assembly. So okay, truck. Time to pick your brain. When replacing floor pans, should I butt weld the new pan or flange the old metal so the new pan is recessed? Well, good question. I prefer to I do like a flange weld or a lap weld. So when I fit in, if you go back to the Mystique Mustang, I think I point this out pretty good on that video. I have what's left of the original, say, tranny tunnel pan, and then I'll overlap it maybe a 1/4 inch or so, and then completely weld the perimeter, And I may go underneath and either, weld, or I may trim it down, blend it smooth, treat it with epoxy, and then seal it. And that way I've got, the original supporting the new, and it's all welded. So a lot of people, or some people, will do a butt weld just so it looks like it's an original pan, it's not been modified. But that can get pretty tricky, because if you can imagine, when you're welding sheet metal like that, it's very difficult to maintain a flat panel over a distance. And it takes a lot of work to blend that in. Some people will use filler, smooth it out. You can make it look good, but it's all what you want for the end result, because depending on what you have, if you're just building a car you're going to drive and enjoy, I just use seam sealer and clean it up. I'm not trying to hide anything. But if you've got something you're trying to make a show type vehicle out of, you may want to go the extra mile. And really, if you're going that far, probably go ahead and put in a one-piece pan, both sides, and tranny tunnel all in one shot, and that way you don't have any seams. So, just a thought. Jerry, is there a way to move the headlight extension up to get better alignment to the fender? Well, yeah. I mean, sort of. I don't know if did you see the videos that I did on the Brooklyn Pony fenders? Because that's exactly what I did. I modified a variety of things to make the extensions, the bucket and the extension, fit, vice versa. Fit the fender and make the fender fit the bucket. So I did both. So it took some rotary files to clean out the holes where the mounts go and shift that around a little bit and kind of move metal a little bit, but they turned out pretty good. So if you haven't seen that, go check out that video on the Brooklyn Pony. I'm not sure what number it is. It's so hard to keep up with what number is what in the series. We have Greg's Workshop checking in. Hi, Greg. I was just talking about you a little bit ago. So, and if there's again, if anybody wants to be on, send me an email, and the email's on the bottom of the screen right now. And so if you want to join the conversation or show us your project or anything you're working on, by all means, send me an email, and we'll go from there. Otherwise, everything seems to be going okay. It's been, I guess technically, since my actual retirement date was August 1st. Haven't really thought a whole lot about, all that this week. Just been living. I had some friends. We have a get together with some other, a few other couples that we hang out with, and we always try to figure out, when can we get together again? When can we get together again? And somebody comments, well, I have to work this weekend, or I have to do this weekend. I have to do that. I have to do this. I have to do that. And I commented, it says, I'm free anytime now. So they got a chuckle out of that. Hopefully it stays that way. Again, if the channel needs to continue to grow and get bigger, so that I don't have to consider the idea of going, find another job somewhere. We got Ben checking in. Glad to hear Ben. We spent a little time hanging out with us today. And Ben, I'm still waiting. I know we've talked about this. I'm still waiting for your YouTube channel to come out with your guitar stuff. So, never know. You never know. You might start doing those guitar lessons online and start developing a following. Just a thought. Anyway, yeah, Ben and I have known each other for several years now. What else? Oh, let's see. Yeah, one day. Yep. One day. Yeah, I started rearranging some stuff in the shop today, just because I've had stuff cluttered up here in the front for a while. And I've walked around this engine, where am I at here? That engine for a few months now. And I decided, you know what, I'm just going to put it up for sale. So that's a built Chevy 383 stroker engine that I'm looking to part ways with. And then I have a couple other big block Chevy engines I need to sell. But anyway, I just posted that one up for sale today. We'll see what happens. Jasper, hi Barry. So are your projects going to speed up now, or what are the plans? Well, I hope they speed up. I want to get more done on the Broken Pony, and I know it gets tough at times to wait for those videos, and I've mentioned it before. Having the right parts at the right time is very helpful, and we've had to go back and forth a few times because certain parts don't fit, or they're not right for this application, or whatever. So I've been talk to the owner about it. We're trying to get that all resolved. And it's nobody. I can't say it's my fault or his fault or whatever. It's just a matter of knowing and figuring out, hey, this doesn't fit, so we got to do something different. And then you got to wait for shipping and wait for timing, and all those things that come into play. And it's frustrating to have to wait for stuff. And I know everybody wants to see more videos, and I want to show more videos. I really do. So as I was saying earlier, I'm going to refit the steering column and the headers on the Brooklyn Pony, and go from there. So we'll see how that turns out. We've got stuff and things. Hey, from Utah, I just watched your crossmember vid. Would you buy a Harbor Freight blast cabinet again? Yes, I would. I like that blast cabinet. Now, that said, there are many videos out there where people have upgraded that cabinet. And in fact, if Jorge was on here, he would probably mention or talk about the one he modified, because I've seen them where there's different. You can look them up. You can look up Harbor Freight blast cabinet. It's cheap. It works, and there are ways to improve it. With a dust collection system, a foot pedal, just a variety of things you can add on. You can invest a bunch of money into making it better, but it still works the way it is. The only thing I would recommend is, if you can vent it somewhere. Like if I had a vent pushing out the outside, I'd probably feel better about it, because right now any residual that gets kind of kicked around in there, it does go out the back and goes behind it on the floor and gathers in the shop. So I end up having to turn on my power vent up in the gable end and opening the front door so that it draws out that dust and stuff. So, I would buy another one, but look for potential upgrades. I know that when I met with Jorge up in Jersey, he had one, and I liked it a lot. He had modified it to where instead of having the side door as your entry point, he made it so it was a flip top. You could actually lift it up, hinged it to the top, and then also created basically a vacuum system to where when he turned it on, the door sucked down tight on top. It was pretty good. It was really good. But anyway, yeah, I would buy one. Brian, keep rubbing in the retirement thing, Barry. I'm just jealous. Yeah, I mean it's going to be different, and I get up when like I said, when the sun hits me in the morning, usually 7 o'clock, I'm up, if not earlier. Sometimes I'll get up at 6 and try to go run while it's still cool outside. This morning I slept a little bit longer, whatever. But it's just so nice to not have an alarm clock to tell me what to do. I really, really like that part of it. And of course, my wife and I just hanging out. Evening comes around, we watch something on, Netflix or TV or one of those channels where they're showing mega machines or stuff like that. I love watching that kind of stuff. In fact, I watched one called Mega Factories last night. Really cool. It was really cool. I don't know if I didn't know that, well, I probably did know, but I didn't really think about it, that Volkswagen has a plant up in Chattanooga. And it's massive. And it's also been awarded many times because they have like a solar field that generates power for them. Just all kinds of cool things that they've done to make it a really great facility. But, they walk through the process of building whatever Volkswagen, but I didn't realize how big that place was. And it was pretty cool to watch. And then I had another one. It was some sort of a guitar company, Strandberg. I've never heard of these before. I guess they've been making these guitars for about 10 years. And Strandberg if you're into guitars at all, you might know, but it's an odd guitar because it's all CNC milled and it has no head on the end of the guitar. It actually tunes backwards. So the strings start at the top and come down the neck, and then at the base the body is where you have your tuning stuff. But really cool guitar. I wouldn't mind have one, but I can't really play the guitar. Maybe a bass. If I had a bass one, I'd probably like it. But anyway, it's just kind of cool to see stuff like that on the TV and just chillax. It's like, hey, I don't have to worry about getting up early, going to work, and then I come out here and do my stuff, and that's pretty comforting to be able to do that. So anyway, so what else is going on out there? I'm just kind of curious. I know I could sit here and just ramble and ramble and ramble, and some people, like I said, they just tune in just to hear me talk, but I'd like to be able to talk about something that may be relevant to what you're doing. Oh, I did point out, or I will point out, I should say, earlier today I was on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm always scoping out cars just because. I may not be able to buy any of them, but if the right deal came around, I'd probably buy it. But there was a guy, somebody had listed a 66 Mustang coupe. And initial look at it, it's like, oh, this car isn't too bad. But it also, I think it was a V8 car, automatic, and from a distance it looked okay. Well, then the guy started showing pictures of it, and yeah, I have the one picture on my J Daddy's Facebook page, but started looking at the pictures. It's red, and it's got some, I don't know what kind of wheels it had on it. I don't remember, but you start looking and you see, there's rust all around the quarter panel. Okay, well, that's to be expected. And then you see something else, and you see something else. Well, then they had the picture of the hood up, and I was kind of shocked, to be honest. They in the picture, and I posted that picture on my Facebook because I said, the more you look, the worse it gets. I don't know what these people did to this car or why or how they think. They're trying to sell this car for like $9,000 is what their asking price is. And there were big cutouts in the shock towers on both sides, not in the center where you would have the grease fitting. This was where the shock towers came into the engine area, right? Huge cutouts. It's almost like they put some exhaust on it and they couldn't get the exhaust to fit, so they just took a torch and just cut out this big C shape on both sides in the shock towers. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, oh, that's really not good. And then I look further up, and in the cowl, on the driver's side cowl, there's a hole like this big where the front of the cowl is gone. And so obviously it must have had a leak, and they decided to fix it by just cutting a big hole and maybe putting in some tar or something around the tower, the chimney. So I'm like, what? And then I looked, and the other thing was, big obvious thing was where the shock tower braces came up to the cowl. The passenger side was nice and flat, and the driver's side was like bowed up somehow, like it had been hit, and it forced it, bent, tweaked the cowl. It's like, you got to be kidding me. You went $9,000 for this car, and it's trashed. You know, it's all beat up and bad. So, let's see. Got any advice on garage lighting? Moving to a new home in a couple of months. 3-car garage. Well, that's a plus. I kind of have mixed opinions on the garage lighting right now. And I'll just be upfront with that, because I had in here, I have 3 sets of 8-foot long. Well, let's see what yeah. Okay. So I have 3 of these, one, on each side of the shop, probably at 8 foot off the wall, and the shop width is maybe less than that, maybe 6 foot, because the shop is 24 feet wide. So if those are 6, that leaves me, a distance in between. 6, maybe 12 feet. Yeah, about 12 feet between them. Anyway, so I had 6500K fluorescent, bright daylight bulbs in those. And, you'd have to replace them every so often. If one goes out, the other one would go out, and whatever. So I upgraded. I pulled out all of the ballast, or disconnected the ballast from all of these, and I put in the LED. These are LED lights with the I don't know what they're called. It's got the little post sticking out at the end, T10 or T12, whatever it is, to where the light assembly is spring loaded on one end, so you push in and then snap it in. Well, these they were easy to modify, very easy to modify to put in, these LED lights. But I can't say for sure that they're truly as bright as when I first started using them. So either that, or I'm just getting older and my perception is changing. But I did, I have 3 of those. And then if you look right above, right here, I put in 2 of these up front. And these are the 5,000 lumen Braun 4-foot LED hanging lights you get from Harbor Freight. So let's see if I can tilt that up a little bit. I've got 2 of those going across. So that's kind of just the way I'm handling the lighting right now. I do have 2 more of those 4-foot Braun lights that I can hang wherever I want. However, I think I need to run at least one more set of 3 down the middle to help get some more light in here. And I may even consider, I don't know, may even put more than that, because they're LEDs. Your biggest investment is getting them installed rather than what it's going to cost to operate. So they do okay, but you never have enough light, honestly. It just feels that way. LEDs are great and reasonable price, yes. And they sell kits on Amazon. I don't think I have a link listed for the lights that I used off of Amazon, but that's where I got mine. Jerry, I'm doing the final assembly of the 66 Mustang. I'm running into alignment issues with the left light extension. I did pre-fit the parts and they fit as they should. Well, it's kind of hard to narrow it down without seeing it. And even then, it's one of those where you have to see it in person to know or modify it. It shouldn't. Yeah, it should. I really don't have any good advice for you. I know a lot of times I will put something in like that has pin alignments or anything like that. I may move it a little bit and get a witness mark, as they say, to see what's hitting or what's clearing. Sometimes I may use a Sharpie and put a little bit of Sharpie on it and then put it together real quick and see if something's rubbing. So other than that, I don't know what to tell you. It's really got to see it type of thing. Jerry, I like the Honeywell 5000 lumens from Sam's Club. I also have a Harbor Freight LED. It's bright. Yeah. I mean, they're bright. But again, I don't know if it's just my perception, or what. But I can see it's not, doesn't feel like they're quite as bright as when I first turned them on. But again, time wears on everything. You're welcome, Jerry. Now, after painting, alignment issues on the left front fender. Well, I'll tell you this, Jerry, and this is no lie. You can have, I could put a fender on a car 10 times, and it seems like every time it's going to fit different. Don't ask me why. It's something, I don't know. I've had parts, I put them on, taken them off, thought about it, whatever, went and put it back on, and it just, oh, what did I change? Nothing, but it lined right up. So, believe it or not, it may be just taking it on and off until you find that perfect timing, and it actually just fits. I've run into that, seriously. Look, my coffee's getting colder, so my cup is changing color. But anyway, that's how it is. What did I saw somebody, I forget, it was another website where somebody was painting. Oh, yeah, it was on one of the Mustang forums, I think. And the guy, he was going out of his way, because like when I do extensions and stuff, I actually bolt them on the car with spacers so that they're on the car and the paint pattern lays out the same. And this person was doing that, and it looked like it was in a real body shop too, like a regular big time body shop. And they were painting the car, and I don't think it's going to turn out the way they hoped, because I think it was a green car, and I think it had metallic in it, but they had put the extensions on, and he stretched them out, which I recommend because your pattern stays the same. And then I'm looking through the pictures, and the doors were laying on flat on stands. So I don't know if they didn't show pictures with the doors on the car and paint sprayed across. The only pictures I saw were the car without doors. I think the fenders were on the car, and they had the doors sitting on stands, and it looked like they were all painted that way. And I can tell you this, I know for a fact, they go to put that door on the car, and that color's not going to match. I don't care that they painted it in the same paint booth at the same time. It's not going to match. Anybody who's painted like that probably knows what I'm talking about. But you have to get the pattern the same from nose to tail. You can't sit there and just spray color on something. What was that? That sounded weird. That might have been one of those. I wonder if that was one of those little S hooks that I have hold those tarps. Because I did that video where I put the tarps outside of this door, and then it may have been one of the S hooks that came undone. Because I did go, and if it's on the Joe Daddy's Workshop channel, I put up those tarps to block the heat, and it worked. It worked great. But I had those little S hooks, and since then I have ordered some little snap links or carabiners that I'm going to use to hold the tarps up. It's working. I'm going to keep using them. Resto Alcy, good morning. Good morning to you. Rocket surgery. Have you thought to put the bolts in the tranny bell housing before you lift it up to the engine? Use a split piece of tubing or a hose or a spacer and hold it together with some tape. Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. I don't know that I'm going to, I like the idea. I'll say that. But I don't know for sure. I don't know if I want to fight with it. at this point, I know what I can do to get bolts in the upper mounts. I know for me, putting up the transmission in the car by myself feels really kind of shaky because I don't have anybody else to grab it if it starts to tip over or something. So I don't know if I want to fight with having a couple bolts and I get them up in there and something doesn't work. I mean, I know where you're coming from and I appreciate that, but I think I maybe, if I have a problem, then I'm going to have to undo something to get back to where I was. So it's a good idea, but I think I may just go with what I know and see what happens. But I do like the idea though. Yeah, I don't know if you, and I think I may have talked about it. If you haven't seen the other video on the workshop channel, I put up 2 silver reflective tarps from Harbor Freight outside of the roll-up door and saw a 20-degree temperature difference from the door to out on the tarps themselves. 20 degrees. So it works. I think Harvey was looking at trying to do it at his place. And because this door I could get temperatures 114, 115 degrees on the inside, which of course, it's white on the inside, but it's brown on the outside. And put up those tarps, 20 degrees difference. So it works. I may find some room for improvement. I had some other ideas posted from people, but at this point, I know it works. Something else I wanted to point out. This is a not surprising but disappointing that SEMA apparently is canceled this year. I got an email yesterday. I was having a conversation with Rich from Mustang Connection 1, and we were talking about going to SEMA and meeting up again. And then I got an email like an hour later that said canceled. So I don't know what they're going to do, how they're going to handle it, but I think the venue said we're not going to host this, I think is what was really said from what I read in the email. But they said there could be a virtual SEMA show, which I don't know how that would work. And also they said with some possible live events, but again, I don't see how that would work out. So looks like I'm not going to go to SEMA this year. So anyway, hopefully next year it'll all be back up and running and doing good. Let's see. Oh, I got an email. Let's see if somebody's. Nope. That's an email from Patreon. Okay. Yeah, like I said, if anybody wants to get on, even Resto Alcy could get on. And we could talk to him. But I think on Monday we did have another gentleman from Australia on, and that was fun. It was nice to have that conversation. Karsten, good evening. Good evening to you. I know it's evening for you. It's afternoon for us here, at least where I'm at. Resto Alcy, Bear, do you paint doors and fenders hanging or flat on panel repair stand? I'm told hanging is better to match the car. I paint them on the car. So I don't know if I have it. I know I have a video series on the light blue Mustang. That's the first one I put in the full floor pan here in the garage and put that car all together. And I painted that one again where I push off the extensions and stuff like that. What I would normally do, and I probably show this even more maybe with Mystique series. So if you haven't seen that one, go check that out. But well, like here's this little Mustang, right, that I keep playing with. I would jam the doors off the car, like sitting on a stand, maybe paint the interior color, let that dry out, mask it, and then paint the car color on the inside of the door, jam it. I'll do like the A-pillar, the door opening, do all that around the taillights, around the trunk lid, maybe the underside of the deck lid, all that sort of thing. and then set I'll jam the inside of the fenders where they meet the door, stuff like that. And then I'll put the doors on the car very carefully. Put the doors on the car and set the fenders on the car, but also set them so they're not on the door itself. I'll put a gap, maybe a couple inches, so that it's it's away from the door, so you can get all the edges and stuff. And then lay the color on. And when I do that, I want to be able to open the doors, have access to them. So I will tape the interior off with paper, so that the interior. You don't have to. I'm just saying, if your car is bare bones, it's not really going to matter much. But I want to be able to open that door. So anyway, I'll spray all the color on the car, open the door, let the color flow across, into the jam a little bit more, overlap, and then once all the color's in place, I'll even clear coat with the doors on the car. So some people will take them off. I don't want to do that, because once I have the door on the car, I'm done. I'm not going to take it off again. It's there to stay. So I'll get that, have the everything on, spray the clear coat, get the where I have the extensions, quarter panel extensions sticking out. I can blow the clear coat down in the gaps, and then I'll open the door and do clear coat all around the jam. Get it all up in there, and then finish it out, and then walk away. Don't touch it. Let everything dry. So you don't want to lay anything flat, especially if you have some metallic in your paint, because it'll lay down. When you spray it on the side of a car, you want to keep your pattern consistent and overlap but when you have it laying flat, that metal flake, it'll settle to the bottom or the flattest surface. It'll kind of settle, and flake will actually lay different depending on how you spray it. So from what I've been told, especially like silver stuff, when you're spraying it on, you don't want to pour it on, because it'll want to kind of sag, and it'll lay different based on how dry you spray it, in a sense. So you just want to be consistent all the way across. Whatever you're spraying, be consistent. Leonard checking in. Man, what have you been doing? You're late. You're late, Leonard. Sam is here. Good evening from Sam. That's good. And Dawn, do you still have your Balboa? I do. It's in storage, and hasn't run, hasn't had it out in a couple years. But yes, still have the Balboa. Oh, man. What the heck? I don't know if anybody saw that or not. I just, my computer just went nuts on me. Sorry about that. Hope everybody's still here. But I don't know if you could see what I was posting, but, or see what I was, but it said your PC ran into a problem and we're going to nuke you, I guess. So they just shut me down and made it restart. So I hope everything is, now I'm frozen. Oh, there it goes. So I don't know what's going on. I'm back. Let me see what we lost here. Oh, tank video on the heck. Yeah, the tank video was a lot of work. Yep, sorry. Yeah, I'm something went crazy and it just took me out. So I'm back. Yeah, man, Jerry, maybe transported him to the lake. Retirement transported him to the lake. I wish. Let's see. Anybody seen what happened at Ford yesterday? CEOs are dropping like flies. I did not see that. Leonard, what's going on? Jerry's asking what's up. Please stand by. We're experiencing technical difficulty. Yes. Yes, the lake sounds really good right now. I want to go back to the lake. Okay, so they fired the CEO of Ford. Ooh, that sounds not good. Probably whenever they come out with that Mustang SUV, they decided you got to go. Yep, back. There's okay, so they're not spending a lot of, oh, they're not, and they're spending a lot of money to do some refurbishing. Yeah. Stuff and things, as an IT professional, it's call that a Windows feature you experienced. Yeah. It was not good. Well, no, that one I don't know. I don't know what that translates to. Cricato funeraria. Cricato, or is it Creek Auto? Maybe Creek Auto funeraria. Boa tarde. Tarde, it sounds like running late. Maybe somebody can translate that. I don't know what that means. Okay, is the echo gone, Jerry? Am I back? Normal? Whatever normal may be. That was very unexpected. So, and I know we were talking about the Balboa, and it's currently in storage. So, man, I don't know what that was. What that was all about. I've never seen any of my computers just blow up on me. Okay, so no echo. Okay. Any line on a 69 Mustang? No, not for me. Not yet. I'm looking, though. I did see a 67 that was for sale out of state. I won't say where, but it said, of course, the advertisement said free, and then send me an offer. But it was a 67 coupe. And I was like, well, what do you want for it? Let me know, because if I get a hold of the right 67 or 68 coupe, I do want to do the conversion. I do want to buy the kit and make it a fastback. So I just have to have the right one at the right price to show up. Jack W checking in. Yeah, some bandwidth compression issues. Well, hopefully it's straightened out, because it looks like it's clear now and running okay. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Echo's fixed. All right. Terry, I was at the pick and pull yard getting some part for my 96 F-150 302. Brazil. Okay. Creek. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that. Whether it's Creek Auto or Crec Auto Funelaria, but it's Brazil, so it's going to have, I would guess, more of a Spanish type of accent to it. So Brazil. I can figure out it says Brazil. Anyway. I would love to see that coupe to fastback. Yeah, I mean it's if I can find the right deal, I'll build one. I'll say that up front. I'll build one, but I just have to. You know what, Jack? I'm glad you mentioned that because I have not been to the post office in the last week. I will make a trip to the post office. I'm glad you brought that up because I completely forgot that you were sending me a hat. I will go today and go to the post office and check on that. And if I get it, if it's there, or if it should be, we'll have it on Monday. I'll show that on Monday. Because I was just thinking about that, not that particular hat, but I am looking at getting more hats made. And I have an ex-military buddy who works at a place that does embroidery, and he's helping me out. So hopefully I will have a new batch of these hats pretty soon. And it looks like I'll be able to get them at a better price. So if that all comes about and works out, we'll look at, I was having to charge $25 a piece for this version. And if it works out with everything that I hope it does, I should be able to maybe do $20 a piece on these hats. And that would be shipping in the US. That's $20 a piece in the US. I have to say that up front because it seems like it's costing a lot more to send stuff overseas. Leonard, there's a Mustang yard somewhere near you, and there's, I think, a 569's there. Well, it would help if I had an address. Maybe I'll find it. Yeah, I'm sure it is, Jack. I'll have to go check today. Okay, so Jerry, you sent me an alignment. You sent me an email. Yeah, well, let's do this, Jerry. Hold on a second. I'll send you an invite, and we can look at it. The alignment issues you're having. So you have to be prepared to set up your, I don't know, maybe have your camera set up in a way that you can have it mounted or something. What about the flag? I have not looked into the flag yet, Leonard. Now the banners, that's probably pretty easy. I can get those made. I just haven't pursued it, but I can have those made pretty quick. Terry Peterson Restoration doing a Mustang's to Fear front to rear frame rails project. Huh. That could be interesting. Joe, I'd love to see you do some 2+2 stuff, just getting a start on my 66. Yeah. Jeff Perrine, that's too mainstream. You should go against the trend and do a fastback to coupe conversion. Yeah, I would turn some heads with that, wouldn't I? I would turn some heads with that. Say, oh, I hate the way these fastbacks look. I like a way a coupe looks much better. And just start hacking. That would drive people crazy. Okay, thank you, Leonard. Stuff and things. I'm hoping to see a mesh back ball cap style hat sometime in the future. Well, there's potential for that. Currently, the deal that I'm working on is their standard baseball, full hats, and I may look into a mesh deal or whether it's a trucker style cap or something like that. I may look into that as well. But I think I have 5 different colors picked out that I would go with. And I know it's black, OD green kind of color, which I like a lot, the green. And then kind of a medium blue and I think a red, and then a kind of a burnt orange color. I think are the 5 choices that I've come up with. Now I can add probably different styles of hats to that. I just need to verify whatever, like if I get, do a trucker style hat, then do I have to, what color do I go with? That sort of thing. So looks like we have Jerry checking in, and he's going to go over by his car, and we're going to talk about his alignment issues. So let me get Jerry on. Hold on just a second. Okay. Jerry, you're on.
Hey, good afternoon. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
So here's the alignment issue that I'm running into. This is the left front fender.
Yep.
And when I first mocked this thing up, everything was level except for this little piece right here.
Right.
Which I know this car was wrecked prior to me buying it because of the way the quarters were reinstalled. But I didn't suspect this panel here, this fender, to be involved in the wreck. But as I went back and looked at the old salvage parts, because I keep all those until I get the car done,
right,
before I throw them away, a lot of this stuff here was all bent up down here. So the fitment here is actually very nice.
Yeah.
Fitment in here is good. This fitment is okay. And then over here, this fitment is a little close, but I think it's doable. And here's the alignment on the right-hand fender. So it aligns very nice except for right here.
Yeah.
And then you can see the style lines, or the hood alignment here is a little off here.
Yep.
And there's a little bit of, you'd probably go towards the fender on this light cover or ring. Here, you got the same issues, but this fender is fitted in as far as it can go on the mounting or the car.
Right.
So I can show you here, the alignment up here is as good as it's going to get. It's not going to get any better than that at this point. I still need to do a little bit of adjustment on the hood, but mostly everything's lining up pretty nice. The door lines are coming in. So it's coming together.
Right.
But but this right here, I worked on this thing for about 3 hours yesterday, and I couldn't get anything to do any better than what it's doing now. I did talk to a guy at the paint shop who suggested that I take a die grinder and maybe elongate the holes that would allow this thing to move up just a smidgen or so, which I think that's what you mentioned in your comments. But anyway, that's kind of what's going on with it. It's close.
Well,
I can't. The only problem I have right now is I can't get parts.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. You're probably not going to get much closer than what you are. These cars didn't have great fit and finish to begin with. And it looks, you're within, in my opinion, you're really close to what the factory would have had, other than the hood, which I'm going to assume that's an aftermarket hood. Because
I don't know if it's aftermarket or not. It doesn't, based on the damage that I found on the hood, was here and over here.
Right.
It was bent in.
Okay.
So I took dollies and hammer and dollied it back out so that I got what it looks like right now.
Right.
So I'm not sure they replaced the hood, but I do know they replaced both rear quarter panels, and I believe this is an aftermarket fender.
Okay.
And the reason I believe that is that if I pull this off here and look at this fender, how it comes in the way this one does,
Right.
there is a difference there. So I think this fender is aftermarket.
Yeah, it's all this stuff, and that's why whenever I do my stuff, I try to build the whole car like this before it ever gets to paint, because like at the point you're at right now, there's really very little that you can do to remedy any of this. You can enlarge those holes a little bit, slide up that extension just a hair, and that's going to help some with the visual look. The transition from the fender or from the hood to the extension, not much of anything you're going to be able to do with that, because it just doesn't, it doesn't allow for it. I know I went into a lot of extra detail on the Brooklyn Pony to make the hood fit the car, because they just, typically the aftermarket ones don't line up. So that's why I'm pointing at it. Maybe it's, an aftermarket. But there's really, I mean, you're well within what I would consider the factory acceptable limits for appearance. So whether you can live with it, that's up to you.
Well, I to be honest with you, Barry, I don't think I've got an option. I'm going to have to live with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone too far down the road at this point to start over and go in and try to modify stuff. Now, one thing I do want to point out that I didn't catch until I started putting the final assembly in, but if you notice this flange here,
yep,
it rolls up back here, but over here, it's higher at this point where the bend is,
okay,
than it is up here. And so the only thought I had was I might be able to take a, which I'd have to go back and repaint this, but that's okay. I can do that. That's not a major issue.
Right.
But, and I can't show you because I don't have a light up in here, but there's probably between this piece.
Aim your camera a little closer. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Between here and where it fits up here on the radiator support.
Yep.
There's probably 1/8 of an inch under here.
Okay.
So I might be able to take
or cut a slit.
Well, I hadn't thought about a slit. I mean, of course, that means I got to weld it.
Right.
But I thought I might be able to knock this down and bring this down. If I could get this level, say to this level right here,
right,
all the way across, then I don't think that would be a major issue, because this car is I'm building it for a show car.
Okay.
But this is the first one I've done. So if I do another one, then I'll know better next time.
Well, but the difficulty you're going to run into, even if you knock that down, like you're saying, if you could drive that down a little bit, the fender, the bucket is welded to the fender all the way around that perimeter behind the extension. So
yes, it is.
You'd have to break those welds loose for that to come down.
And I can do that. They're adjusted right now based on how it fit. The bolts that are in here that hold the fender to the engine apron, they're slotted, and they're all the way to the top.
Okay.
So that could be loosened up, and if I could move that, then that might work out. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky either way. It's a tough place to be in right now. Whenever your final assembly and you have stuff like that shows up, and especially as you know with white, any transition is going to show up even bolder where the white seam is, or the black, the overlap. I think you might be on, might have a good idea. Like I said, if you can break those welds loose on that front and get that corner to come down a little bit. Here's my compressor. Hang on. think I remember that.
Yeah, I forget mine all the time too.
Now, how's the fender fitting the door on the bottom section right there on the passenger side? Door to fender.
This side right here, what I've done, it's not fitting the way it should.
Right.
And I've pulled this out and I've adjusted it all the way in as far as I can go. And I think the only way to remedy this is I'm going to have to do some elongation on the holes to pull this in, because it's not lining up on the rocker here.
Oh yeah.
And then the other thing that I noticed is, if you notice this line here,
Yep.
this fender is as far back as it'll go. And to be honest with you, Barry, I just missed that. When I was doing the mock-up, I just missed it.
Yeah. And it, like I said, you know as well as I do, white is the worst for this kind of stuff. Any light color car is going to show that up real fast.
Yep.
That's why I could see, just me looking at your angle in the door, I could see that the fender or the door sticking out.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you.
If you look along the rocker here,
Yeah, it's out.
I mean, it's out here.
Yeah.
But if you look at the alignment here, we're level. And then this is the other thing I noticed on the door here is, if I level this, then this right here is gapped a little bit different.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm not sure how else to adjust that. I'm thinking, one of the things I was thinking about doing is across here, as you know, gets a aluminum chromed trim.
Oh, on the rocker?
Yeah, on the rocker.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking about doing was raising the door up slightly to get this gap straight, because I think from the normal person looking at this, they would never see a gap larger here than back here.
Right.
And then that might, by bringing this up a little bit, that might get a little bit better alignment up here, because you can see this alignment right here.
Yep.
And
see, yeah,
that might be able to be fixed. I don't know. You
might get a little bit out of it, but you know this, and I feel for you on this, Jerry, because I know you're not familiar with these cars, you know, being this is your first one, and this is why, you know, like whenever people talk about the detail that I go into when I'm making my videos and showing stuff, this is exactly why, so that people can see that there's stuff that has to be done at some point to make everything fit. And you know, it's not your fault, because like I said, you haven't done these before. So, but your options are pretty limited as to what you can do on this car. I wish I had an easy answer for you.
Well, I wish you did too, but you know, my stepdad used to use a phrase for me all the time when I was growing up, and he would start it out and he'd say, "Son," and I knew that I was getting ready to either get in trouble or he was going to have some kind of profound thing to say to me.
Right?
And he said, "Son, you're going to be a smart old man, because you're making all the mistakes as a young man."
Yeah.
But
well,
anyway,
I can tell you,
I think the car is going to do okay. It's probably not exactly the way I want it to turn out, but given that it is my first one completely to restore, which, you know, I think I told you on the last time, replaced the floor pans in the trunk, half of the frame rails in the back, both full or floor pans in the compartment, the firewall, the cowl, and 3 of the engine aprons. So this car was a bit of a mess. And at one time I had thought that I should just flip it, get the engine running and just flip it, not worry about it. But then I've seen some of the stuff that you've worked on, and I've seen some of the stuff that the other individuals have worked on. And, this car wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I mean, the Brooklyn Pony was a rust basket.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I appreciate you letting me on, and I still got a little bit more work to do on this, but it's getting close. I'm getting ready to put driving insurance on it so that I can actually start driving it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, here's some of the comments that are coming in on this. Let's see. Oh, now I'm hearing myself.
I'm not sure. Oh, wait, maybe this will do it.
I don't know if you have me on a computer, but it's saying Greg is saying your car does not look bad, and I agree with him on that. Terry Baptist, would adjusting the inner apron help solve the problem? I don't know that would be the answer. Marshall, if you could find some OE extensions, he had some luck finding some for cheap near me, and he had a bunch and a couple pairs. Some fit better than others. So finding some for cheap near me.
There you go.
So anyway, so somebody suggested trying to find another set of OE extensions that you could put on in place of the ones you have. So I don't know if those are OE or not, but you'd have to repaint paint new ones if you did.
Well, I mean, that's not a difficult process. In fact, what I did on this car, which is what you described earlier, was I actually painted the doors, the trunk lid, the hood lid, or the hood, the front fenders, all of the extensions in the front end were all painted off the car because I was painting a solid color. And as you can tell, I mean, the lighting, I didn't have real good lighting on in here, but as you can tell, and I've had it on the sunlight and I've done some inspection on it. And I think since it was a solid color, it's turned out okay.
I think it did too. I know from what I could see on the phone when you were doing from the door to the fender, I was going to ask you if you painted them together or not, because for me, I can actually see a little tiny bit of a difference.
Yeah.
But it's just me because I've been around doing this, but I don't think the average person isn't going to see that, and like you said, with the sun hitting it, it looks good. I know it's going to look good. But my first instinct was that those weren't painted next to each other. That was my first thought.
The only thing I did, and after listening to this live stream, if I were to do it again, what I would do, I did put the quarter extensions on all thread and mount them off of the car and painted those on the car.
Yes.
If I were to do this same thing again, what I would do is and I think you had a video on this where you used some long 5/16" bolts to mount the fenders on the car, but not bolt them down hard for the painting.
Right.
And so what I would do differently on the next car, and my next car is I missed a great opportunity. I found two 1966 Mustang convertibles in April. They were runnable, according to the guy I talked to, but I was on a medical emergency out in Texas with my wife's mother, and I wasn't able to make an offer or do anything, but I could have bought both these cars for $800.
Why do you call me?
Gosh, I don't know, but I should have just bought them, because for $800, you can part it out for more money than that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I missed them, and because the next car I want to do is a convertible. But anyway, like I said earlier, life's experience.
Well, you're learning.
Yeah.
That's what it takes. And like I said, I wish there was an easy way to remedy this, but the other idea that I had thought about was, I don't know if you have any filler on top of the extensions at all.
No, I don't.
So would it be a consideration for you to just add some filler to the top of the extension and repaint it?
Well, actually, I thought about that, and I talked to the paint shop guy yesterday, and the only concern I have is that on some of the fillers, and maybe I've read the instructions wrong, but some of the fillers talk about not putting any more than 1/8 of an inch of filler on anything. And so I was a little concerned, being that edge,
Right.
that the filler would crack off or chip off if you drop something on it or something like that.
It would be very unlikely, because I look at it as if you do drop something on it that's going to chip the paint, it's not going to matter if it's paint or filler. If it's strong enough to chip it, you've already got damage anyway. But
Sure.
I've seen, and not that I'm defending it by any means, I have seen 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch thick filler on a car that you wouldn't know it was there. It had been on there so long, and then starting to work on it, you dig that stuff off, and you're like, how is this even staying on here? So I understand what he's saying. That 1/8 of an inch is really what you what you would stay with, but that may be an easier alternative for you.
Well, it could be, and that could cause. I mean, that could solve the problem on the style line on the where the hood is crimped and bends over to go down to the mounts towards the bottom of the car. So you could actually build that up and put that back in, so where it almost looks like perfect alignment.
I mean, I know when I did the Brooklyn Pony, I used filler over the door and a quarter, block sanded everything, so where the transitions are perfect. But I also welded the door edges to build them up, make them strong, stuff like that. But it's any of this stuff. It doesn't. I mean, nothing fits like it should. We know that. But anyway.
Well, it's something to think about. I'm not too far along, because I do have to do some touch up painting, and so now would be the time to grind the paint off and put some body filler, or reprime it and put some body filler on it. I'm a believer of using epoxy before you put filler on it.
Yep.
And so that's kind of what I would do, is probably sand it down to the point that I could get to the primer, or at least to the base coat.
Yeah.
And then fill that back in, and feather it out and resand it and then repaint it. I mean, that's easy enough to do.
Yeah.
And I've got enough paint left that I don't have to go buy anymore. So
yeah. And to me, that's an easier option, is to do that rather than mess with the fender, try to modify things, unless there's some other issue with the fender, I really wouldn't want to try to change it. I would just try to address that extension.
Other than that right fender where I showed you at the top, where it was a little bit of a gap there, the left fender actually is aligned pretty well.
Yep.
And the doors are closing good. I got all the glass back in it. And by the way, if nobody or anybody that's listening hasn't pulled out the door glass and the regulators and the quarter glass and regulators and stuff like that, if you decide to do that, either reassemble it pretty quickly, or take a lot of pictures so that you know how things go back. Because I spent 3 days putting that stuff back together.
Yeah. Or if you have the old door shelves that are junk, cut the skin off, the outside of the door, so you can see, and just do one side at a time.
Yeah. But yeah, it's all back together. Alignment's pretty good. I'm waiting right now. My hold up right now is for a new headliner. I think I told you that I put the other headliner in, and I cut it a little too short on the curve going around the sail. And when I started pulling it, I ripped it. And so I tried to repair it. And the more I worked with it, the worse it got.
Yep.
So I just pulled it out I've ordered a new one. I think I've got one coming from Mustangs Plus. They told me about 4 or 5 days ago they didn't have them in stock, but they were going to have them in stock in about 2 weeks. So I should have it hopefully before the end of the month. And I'll get that put in. And once I get that put in, then I can get the windshield put in, back glass put in, and then I'll order the rest of the interior. And right now, I think I mentioned Monday, if you're ordering seats, fully assembled seats, like I wanted to move the original Mustang seat that's the low back to a high back seat. And I wanted to do that from the standpoint of just if you got hit in a collision, that it would help you a little bit with whiplash.
Sure.
And so I looked at that, and that's 12 weeks.
Wow.
From PMI. And then, but I did find another company, and I don't remember their name, but Mustangs Plus sells their products, and it's a complete seat pack or upholstery pack for the original seats and construction, the way it was, rear seats and front seats. So I think what I'm going to do, because I can get that in about a week and a half. So what I think I'm going to do is go ahead and invest in that, which is about $300 for the upholstery, which is actually very cheap.
Yeah.
Which kind of indicates that it is a cheap product. But at least I can recover the seats, put new foam in them, and then at least get the thing on the road. And then I can go ahead and order the seats and stuff that I want. And if it comes in 3 months, that's great. If it comes in 4 months, that's okay too.
Yeah. Yeah.
At
That's
least
a good
I'll
way
be
to
able
look
to
at it.
take it out and show it in the car shows and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
So
Okay.
other than that, everything else is good.
Well, good. And I'm still trying to figure out a way to get those videos downloaded.
You know, I know a guy that's a real software whiz, and I'm going to have to just give him a call and talk to him. You made a comment, and I didn't write it down, but you made a comment that once we send this via,
Dropbox.
That Dropbox converts it into a zip file.
Yeah, well, somebody did, because I've gotten other ones to where it just came straight in. It didn't have any zip file. It just went straight from, the download of, you put it in the Dropbox, and then it shows up in my Dropbox. And then I think I had it one other time where somebody had sent me something, and it had that WinRAR, WinRAR zip file. I was able to download that program for free and get that off of Dropbox. I've tried to do that with yours. It comes up, says error, will not process. So I don't know what's going on, but maybe he has a suggestion. I don't understand why, because unless you converted it to a zip, it should not have converted to a zip. It should have just.
No, I left it. The only thing I did was I shot it with an iOS, with my iPhone, iOS operating system. And then I brought it into iMovie, and there were 4 separate videos, and I stitched those together.
Okay.
Or I brought them into where you do the editing, the edit line. And then I didn't do anything else with it.
Okay.
So when I shipped them to you on Dropbox, I shipped you 4 files.
Right. That's what I got, 4 files.
And I didn't do anything else. I didn't do any editing on it. I didn't do anything to it.
Well, see, what's strange is I can watch the videos.
Yeah.
I can actually click on them on Dropbox and watch them. But if I try to download them, it'll download them. And then when I try to process them over, it just says, nope, won't do it. So.
Wow. Well, I'll talk to this guy. He's my nephew. He's a computer network guy that worked for the banks in New York for a long time.
Okay.
And he's pretty sharp on that stuff. So I'll send him an email and talk to him about it and see if he's got any suggestions.
Okay. Sounds good.
We'll see where it goes.
All right. I'm getting ready to wrap this up. So let me know how this turns out with your extensions and stuff.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But I'm gonna just sign you off because I'm getting ready to close off. So,
All right. Thanks.
nice having you here, though.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you. Okay. So as I said, I'm gonna wrap this up. Sorry about the blackout, whatever happened earlier. We have, yeah, Sam Smith. It's still a nice car. I wish I was that far along on 65. Yeah. Dave, DIY guy. Good afternoon, Barry. Finally able to tune in. Good. Glad you're here. And Leonard, good luck with your Mustang, Jerry. Yes, good luck with that. Okay. Since I'm going to close this off, as I've said before, and I know everybody's here already knows the drill. You know, if you're buying stuff off Amazon, load up your cart, go to my channel, find the little icon up in the corner of my banner, click on that, and then download your cart. That's helping. You know, every little bit helps. So I know I was letting other people know that, you know, they didn't know that they could do that. And so somebody else recently, I said, hey, this is an easy way to help out the channel. Another is, yeah, thumbs up, like Leonard says right here, thumbs up, comments. And, we have, I guess is that Raid? A bush arc? Raid, a bush arc? I'm guessing. Thank you for the comment. So yeah, Greg Workshop checking out. If you're interested, go check out Greg's channel as well. Check out what he's doing with his stuff. And otherwise, I'm going to continue making videos. So I'm probably going to get some more done today. Oh, okay. Raid from United Arab Emirates. Well, I'll give you a bell for that. It's nice to have you here from there. Hope all is well. But anyway, so things are going good. I've got more videos to make and more stuff to share. And I really want to get a lot of this stuff test fitted on the Brooklyn Pony. So that's the goal, and getting all that stuff in place. So anyway, I'm going to call it a day, and I'm glad y'all were here. So in the future, like I said, I may do that thing where I do a video and have a comment drawing in the next week or something like that. So just be aware of that. And I think Steve from Footage Factory had been on here he showed up very late on Monday, and I saw that he had made a $25 donation. So I'm thinking he had that dyno test done on his 68 Mustang, and it did not make 180 horsepower. I think that's what that was about. So I saw it the last second. I was just closing off, and it showed $25. So I'm going to assume that he did not make that. So anyway, thank you all for being here, and I will be back on Monday at 7 p.m. Georgia time, and we'll talk some more. So take care of yourselves. See ya.